Welcome once again to another edition of New Apartment Radio Podcast. It is your hostess with the mostest, DJ Bill here, along with the producer Jackson for another episode. Jackson, this is a big one. This is episode 25.
25. You know what that means?
What?
It means a new season.
Oh, that's right.
Around the corner.
That's right. This is the season finale, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing 25 episodes a season, and we're going to do a little throwback in this episode to talk about things from the first episode, which, Jackson, you said you just recently listened to. How bad was it?
Surprisingly, the first episode's not too bad. If I were to listen to the second, third, maybe fourth, they were pretty bad. But that first one, it's not too bad.
It was all right, eh?
It was all right.
All right. Because I know we talked about things like where we wanted to go with this and some of the music we listened to, and I think we did concerts we may have seen.
Yeah, we touched on kind of just a broad subject of everything.
Yeah. When you look back at that, when you listen to it, are we better now than we were then?
Ever so slightly.
Okay.
So slightly.
Good. That's one thing that I'm happy that we are progressing in a more positive way with this podcast. Actually, we actually have, like we said before, we have real little microphones now.
Yeah, whereas that first episode, I was listening back, you can hear the phone vibrate when it's on the table. You could hear all the clicking and clanking of stuff hitting the table.
Nice.
Funny.
Nice. 25 episodes, number 25. I believe, if I remember correctly, the Pretty Reckless sang a song called 25. Yes, and I think that's about people who die at 25.
Are we dying?
No, I hope not. I hope our show isn't dying.
Are we going to be a part of the 27 Club?
I don't. Oh man, I don't know. I hope we don't end up this being the final episode, because that would suck.
Very much.
We went into this as kind of unsure of what we were doing when we first talked about this. We talked about this for probably months on the assembly line at our work.
Yeah, more or less it was kind of just a broad discussion. It was like, what if that would be cool if we did that?
Right.
And then we started talking about that probably like September, October
I think so,
year.
Yeah, I think
and
it was then.
It took around until February where we actually sat down and did it.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I remember the time before we started recording, we were at races doing just whatever vinyl night.
Yep.
And we were talking about it, and I mentioned, I'm like, hey, I could figure out how to do this if we want to do it.
That's right.
And then a few weeks later,
we
recorded the first episode.
Yeah. That's insane that we actually came through to do this. What so far do you think was your favorite part of doing these podcasts? It's not the editing, clearly.
No, I don't mind the editing. It's just because of how stuff our setup is, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's just being able to talk about stuff that I like. Even if I could talk about it with friends, but they wouldn't care as much, or it wouldn't be as deep a conversation.
They're not as passionate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, music is very, very passionate for us. And ever since we talked about this, I think in episode 23, and so I recently got Spotify, and I tell you, man, I'm on there every day still, adding new music, adding new lists, checking out new songs, checking out artists that I knew of one song. So I went down. I finally listened to other songs from that. I don't know how to pronounce their name. Emney, I guess, that band I told. Yeah. And their music's actually pretty good. I was like, it's a little harder than I'm used to listening to, but it's not so hard where I'm like turned off by it.
It's like a few notches up from Linkin Park. That's
kind of
how it sounds.
It sounds like if nu metal was to be created in the year 2020, that would probably be what it would be.
Which makes sense because there's been a nu metal surge in the past 4 or 5 years.
There has. That's definitely happened. There's a lot of things I want to talk about today for our season finale. I also want to talk about things we're going to be doing in the second season too, and where we're going to be going. This is going to be a fun episode for all you people at home listening. And listen, for those of you who actually took the time to listen to either one episode or all 25, we thank you so much for doing so, because honestly, I didn't think we would have a fanfare with this. I didn't.
No, I don't even I wouldn't consider a fanfare. We have dedicated listeners.
Sure.
It's still, I don't know. I never expected to get anything more than a few listens. I didn't think we would go more than a few episodes, because I thought immediately we would get no listens and then it would just kind of fizzle out. I figured that too, or I figured we would just get bored or something wouldn't click. Yeah, we'd be like, what are we doing? But no, so far things are just growing. And a lot of it helps because of certain bands and artists in the music industry that are creating some noise. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in many, many years, just last Friday,
Falling in Reverse released a new album with, I believe it's 11 tracks. I think it was
I
11.
think so. 10 or 11, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 11. And wow, amazing. I fell in love with that album. I listened to it oh my goodness, I listened to it on Saturday with
Yeah, I think the
Melissa.
day after it
Yeah.
came out, yeah.
And we listened to it that morning, and it was funny how many songs I like. Melissa goes, "Well, I know this one," and then I knew Zombified. It was
Yeah.
AEW's music for Soraya. She uses
Yeah.
that, and then Soraya is singing in Bad
On
Guy.
Bad Guy,
Yeah,
yeah.
so that was cool. You mentioned how Ronald was a really like would be the hardest song on the album.
It is heavy,
It is
yeah.
heavy, but to me, it's just like Hollywood Undead. It wasn't anything
Oh,
heavier than
it's weird because the chorus and the breakdown, or not even chorus, I'd say, but the beginning and the breakdown are so heavy, but then that rap part and
yeah.
like some of the clean song vocals, it just like brings it all together.
Yeah, it was so good that we got it off Pop Music. They for some reason they had it sitting over there. We also got Mother Mother and an Avril Lavigne album. So that was kind of a weak order, more of a Melissa order than me. Falling Reverse is great, but she loves it too. But that was all her, and that's okay because I will be ordering next week. 311 has re-released their second album, Grassroots, on vinyl, so I will be purchasing that.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to get that because that's kind of the one missing in between their first album and the Blue album. So it's
Yeah.
like I kind of need that to fill the void. So I'm looking forward to getting that this week sometime off the Zon. $66, but whatever.
Is it 2 LP?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not terrible.
It's all right. So I'm okay with that. But let's talk a little bit about Falling Reverse again, about how they tried to cancel Ronnie. Ronnie sings about that in his song Zombified, pretty much saying,
that
you
was
know,
4 years ago almost
yeah.
now.
And it's like, it's weird to think, why are you canceling this dude? Like, yeah, he's done some shitty things, but so has so many other artists out there.
He's human.
He is.
And that was like one of the first things in prequel. He's like, I'm a hypocrite, but I'll say it to your face.
Yeah.
Like, he'll admit it.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know. I listened to it and I thought there's some tracks I'm not a big fan. Like Prequel is good, but it's nothing special.
That's the first track, right?
Yeah, that's the first one. And Fear is like more of a rap thing, but like,
yeah,
man, is it just he feels like a Tom McDonald if he could actually write more than just political stuff.
Oh,
that's Tom McDonald is got the same message more or less, but he just writes political shit.
I forgot about
Ronnie
Tom.
Is more musical. He actually writes interesting stuff, and he writes like actual stories.
Yeah, it's really cool. And of course, the last song on the album, the version of Last Resort.
Yeah, I was glad they put that.
Yeah, that was so cool. If anyone hasn't listened to that, please go and listen to that song. He owns that song now. I mean, Papa Roach, they were good, but man, that's such a good song. It is very, very cool. And definitely an album worth checking out, folks. I liked all 11. I swear it's 11 tracks.
Yeah, it is. I checked,
yeah. I guess even like the songs that are not as good are still good. It's just
there's not a single song that I'm like, I would skip it.
Right.
Like every song is good.
But there's some songs on there I would listen to more times than most.
like Popular Monster, All My Life,
Zombified,
and Trigger Warning. Those are like my top ones.
I forget which ones were mine. Now let me take a look here. I have them put them in the random mix. That's how I remember. Because I put all the songs there I like the most because they're just the songs I like. I picked Voices in My Head, Bad Guy, Zombified, Popular Monster, and of course Last Resort were the ones. Yeah. And nothing against the other songs. It's just those are the ones that stuck out to me, made me
of course.
connect. Yeah, so if I can head vibe to it, I'm all for it. Also, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about something kind of interesting too, I suppose. Why bands like Falling in Reverse, who are just now kind of getting into that popular spotlight of being on the radio, like Popular Monster was for a while, why do certain bands that are in punk and metal refuse to go the popular route and be on the radio? It seems like such a weird thing. You get into that business to make money, to create yourself like fame and fortune, but
spread your message.
You don't you go to the point where you refuse to do radio style music. I don't get it. Like, for example, there's bands like Green Day and The Offspring and Blink-182, all punk bands, made great music on the radio.
Yeah.
You'll never hear a No Effects song on the radio. You'll never hear a Guttermouth song on the radio, a Bouncing Soul song. These are bands, though, that have like 12, 14, 16 albums,
Yeah.
no radio play.
Yeah. I don't know. It feels like, at least with Offspring and Green Day, they made music that music got popular.
Yeah.
Like their style of music's got popular. They didn't really switch genres. And I think that's what people get annoyed by when it comes to selling out. A lot of bands will have that. Like Green Day battled that for years, where people called them a sellout because they got popular.
That's such a shitty term,
Yeah, it
right?
is, because it's not them selling to a producer to make them more money, or selling like whatever. It's
Yeah.
them making music, and it got popular because it's
Well,
good,
exactly.
right?
And
Like,
that would be like us saying, let's say this catches on and our podcast gets like an underground
yeah,
vibe.
like a sponsor or
Yeah, a
something.
sponsor comes along and says, we want to give you thousands of dollars. Are we going to say no to that? That would be
No, yeah, that
stupid,
would be
you know?
stupid.
Yeah. So I don't understand why these bands are, some of these bands just refuse to get that. I mean, for example, maybe they didn't work. Bad Religion and Rancid did have radio songs. They did have record labels that weren't Epitaph Records, and they released a few albums. And maybe they didn't like the, what do you call it? Maybe the way their production team wanted them to go with
The
these albums.
bureaucracy
Yeah.
and like all the behind the scenes
Yeah,
stuff.
so they're like, I want to write my own shit. We're gonna go back to the underground and to the, the lower record deals where we can do that. And sure, we might not be on the radio, and we might not be on Much Music or MTV if they actually still did play music videos, which they don't. But they rarely even do YouTube videos anymore. If they do, it's just more so like the song with like a picture thing in the background, right? It's
Yeah,
not like an
yeah.
actual video.
Just like Vivo is now just a music distribution network
Right.
rather than
Yeah.
video.
It's just weird. But then you got, like you said, the fans who say you sold out. Green Day, you sold out. Blink-182, you sold out. Well, so what? They wanted to keep writing the same music and playing in the same dive bars for like
Yeah,
30, 40, 60
yeah.
fans? No, they
We,
want to
we,
play the stadiums.
exactly. We got a name in the industry for those kind of fans. They're called elitists because they
Yes.
want to keep whatever band that, however big they are, they want it to be their little niche that only them and a few other people know. It's like,
And, yeah.
why?
And you know what? And it's not just in music. I mean, I'm a pro
yeah.
wrestling fan. It's like that in pro
Yeah,
wrestling.
wrestling,
Yeah.
games,
Yeah.
everything where there's something you can sink your teeth into and have different likes and dislikes, it'll happen. You'll
Yeah.
have elitists, you'll have mainstream, you'll have posers, which I hate the word, but they do exist, where they
Yeah.
think they know more than they do.
Oh, big time. And I get that. I think we're all a little bit of a poser at first because something's new to
That's
us.
how you get
Yeah.
like stuff, but it's
Yeah.
just whether you be pretentious with it.
And I think a lot of people end up being posers in the worst possible way. And the perfect example of that is like, 25 years ago in the year like 2000, punk rock was so huge and it became a trend. And you would see these people wearing shirts of like No Effects and Bad Religion and Rancid, who you'd see at a party, who would probably, and you might have to bleep this out, who would probably like date rape your sister or your girlfriend. And these are the guys who are wearing shirts that you love. You love these bands, and these guys are like, now you look at these guys, they're douchebags. They're the guys in high school or college that you wanted nothing to do with.
Yeah.
And they're wearing the shirts of the bands that you listen to be different from that.
That group, yeah.
Billy Corgan straight out said that. He said the most disappointing thing in his life was when he did a Smashing Pumpkins concert and saw the people wearing his shirt in the crowd that he was fighting against all these years. He's like, this is not where I wanted this to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because it became popular.
Yeah,
When something becomes
yeah.
popular, yeah.
I don't know. It's a double-edged sword, because while I agree, the people doing stuff like that, it's just why.
Mhm.
Like, if you like it, perfect, cool. If you don't like it, why try to act like you do? But at the same time, as a band, like a band, take Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah.
They did it. They had a situation where they were popular with jocks because they had very angry, very like hyper music that helped with like whatever sports and whatnot, with backcountry and what else. But they also had nerdy ass music because they were technical as shit. Right? They had super technical guitar and drumming. So they fit both categories. So it's kind of hard to distinguish who's actually a fan and who's just pretending to be a fan because they like it.
And that's the tough thing to decide.
Yeah.
But I think after a while you kind of figure it out. And the best way to figure it out is to just ask them, like, what their favorite, like, ask, well, I mean, this was the test I always did. What's their first album? And I know I've caught you with that before. I like to catch people with that, and then they'll say like what they think is their first album. It's like, no, that's not it. It's actually this album, and you're like, oh, because you don't know, and it's
Yeah.
that's about the learning process. But these people don't want to learn. Like for the longest time, I always thought Dookie was Green Day's first album until I saw one day Kerplunk. I'm like, oh, they released a new album. Oh, somehow they released it 2 years before Dookie. Like, no, it's
Yeah.
just that's an album before Dookie. I had no clue, and I think there's no excuse now with Spotify because they give you all the albums, they give you the order they come
Yeah,
in.
unless it's just not on there, like something like Pantera's first two, where they're fucking glam metal, and they
Oh,
just
really? They didn't put them on.
no, they didn't put them on
Oh,
because Pantera doesn't like them because they're
they were glam.
glam. Yeah,
Well, okay,
whereas
but you shouldn't escape your past either. Someone out there probably does like those
no, for
albums.
sure they were. I've listened to them. He has an amazing singing voice, and they're not great. They're cheesy and they sound like a shitty Motley Crue, but they were the time. They were a product of that '80s era.
Exactly. So don't. I hate it when people try to forget their past too. It's like don't
Yeah,
forget your past. Don't forget where you came from because that those hardcore dedicated fans haven't, and they're still gonna
yeah,
listen to that
yeah.
shit.
You gotta accept it and move on. If you
Well,
want to change styles, it's fine, but you gotta accept that those were there and they
well,
helped build.
remember when I introduced you to Alice in Chains' early stuff where it sounded like glam metal
Yeah,
too? It
yeah.
was like because that was the times in 1987, 88, and
Yeah,
such, right?
precisely. Yeah.
Um, so for those to those people out there who wear shirts of bands that is popular to
Talk
do,
to you, Beyonce.
yeah,
You're wearing Metallica shirt for no
exactly.
reason.
Just don't fucking do it. It's really stupid. And if you're gonna do it, then just like wear Taylor Swift
Just listen to
shirts.
the music. Like if you're gonna wear the shirts, listen to the music. It's
Yeah,
good shit. You don't need to wear it just because you. If you find it's cool, I don't know. If you wear it because you think it's cool, fine. Then just say that, right? Like if
yeah,
someone asks you if you know a band, just say no. I just like the look of it because there's some cool artwork with these bands.
yeah,
But do yourself a favor. Go out and at least listen to them, see if you like them.
exactly.
It doesn't hurt. That's
I've
for
I've
sure.
never wore a music shirt of a band I didn't know or listen to.
No, yeah, I don't. I've never understood it, but if
Yeah,
you're gonna do it, at least try and listen.
exactly. The funny thing is, there's a girl at our work named Bailey who was one day wearing a Nirvana shirt with the smiley face, and I
Oh,
remember I
great.
called her out on it. I said, and she knew exactly every. She goes, "Oh, my favorite album is this. My favorite song is this," and I stood there and my jaw dropped. I'm just like, "Oh, but you're young." She's like, "I know, but I love them." She goes, "I love Alice in Chains." She started naming off what she loved on there. I love Red Hot Chili Peppers. She goes, "Me and my boyfriend are going to see them like in a few weeks." I'm just like, "Oh, you
Yeah,
know that."
dumbfounded. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, "Okay, so you're not one of those fans. Awesome. Keep up the good work and, keep listening to the music." But yeah, you come across so many, and it's like I said, it's not just that. Like I've seen non-sports fans where hockey,
Yeah,
name a
I
player and
find
they
that
can't.
more infuriating because at least music you could be ignorant to them existing.
Yeah,
You can't be that with with a sport.
no,
Get out.
no. And I remember back when I was in high school, because just like when punk rock was popular, that was the peak for pro wrestling, and I had those kind of guys wearing wrestling shirts. I remember this one guy. He at the time there was a group called the New World Order, and he had a shirt on, and I was wearing my I had an NWO shirt too, and I was wearing it. And he looked at me and he kind of gave me like the yeah, you got the. I'm just like, don't. I'm not your friend. I don't. So just don't. I've been invested in this for at the time I was 18 since I was like 4, right? And I'm still invested in it. But I bet you that guy doesn't even watch it anymore. And just like a lot of those people who listen to punk rock then and wore the shirts, I'm guaranteeing you they don't listen to those bands anymore
Yeah.
because I hardly listen to them now, and it's just the way it is, right?
Yeah.
So there's no way they are. It's just, I mean, with metal, it's just as bad too because Metallica. Everyone loves Metallica. It's like,
Metallica, Black
yeah,
Sabbath, Iron
name me a
Maiden.
Metallica song. Enter Sandman. Okay, name me another one. Master of Puppets. All right, give me one. Give me a deep cut off there. Uh, uh,
Nothing
uh,
else
yeah,
matters.
nothing else matters. Does that work? Oh, what about one? Like one is off Injustice for All. Oh, okay. It's just like, do you not get what's Metallica's first album? Oh, that's the Black Album. Is it? Is it really? No, it's not, you assholes. It's their fifth album. Technically, if you want to get really into it, it's their sixth album if you count Garage Days.
Yeah, I
So there
said,
you go.
yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that these people are just irritating, but they make for great conversation like today.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's not. I don't hate on them. They can
No,
be frustrating when you're like, You think you see them in public, you're like, oh, there's a fellow fan of this, whatever, and then you go and talk to them, and they just don't know anything. It's like, well, that's disappointing.
But to be fair, too, maybe they're just new at it. Maybe they haven't
Yeah,
had a chance, so
exactly.
you don't
Yeah.
really know. And I just to those out there who aren't fans, just stop. Just, I mean, if you want to buy the shirts, whatever, you're giving money to the band, but I don't know,
Do them
just
a favor, listen to the music. If you
yeah,
don't like it, so be it, right? And
exactly,
just if someone asks you, it's simple. Just say, hey, I just like the look of the shirt.
exactly,
Most fans, as long as they're not assholes, will accept that as an answer.
yeah. If you think that, well, I guess in time will tell. Like I said, a lot of these people are just those jerks that you just knew in school that, and now they're wearing the shirts you want to wear. It's like, really, really, that's not cool. But it is what it is. On this edition of New Apartment Radio Podcast, this is episode 25, the season finale. Of course, I am the host, DJ Bill, along with the producer Jackson, and we're coming at you on this very special episode because we are getting ready to shoot season 2 in just a matter of weeks. That is going to be exciting.
That is very exciting.
I
We'll have
can't,
some new
yeah.
stuff planned, which are not going to spoil too
No,
much,
no.
but you'll see a bit of a change in
Yeah.
how it sounds.
I think it's going to be awesome. And I also have some things coming up. Like, for example, we will get into the other colors of the album, that being the, what was it? The orange,
So
blue,
we got
and green.
orange, green,
Not blue, sorry, orange, green, and purple.
purple, and
Yeah.
then we'll do black and white, and then we'll do rest of the
Yeah.
colors in one video.
That can even be for season
Episode.
3.
Yeah,
we can prolong
we
that.
might do
Yeah.
that.
And we also have to do, we're going to do another deep dive interview segment, of course. I don't know if it's going to be on me or Matt or Race, depending if they show up. Yeah, someone. We're going to do one of those again. We're going to do our random ones. It's just, and plus we're going to try to brainstorm and come up with a lot of other ideas, which we kind of already been doing.
And you guys, like, if as listening, you probably heard we've talked about a lot of them on the podcast, which
Yeah,
more or less couldn't bite us in the foot, because if we don't do them, then people might be expecting them. But still,
exactly.
I'd
And
rather be open than
right. Has anyone actually left comments? Because I know we always say, like,
no,
no,
not
that's
that
not.
I've noticed.
So it's like, if you want to hear us do something, let us know. But hey, that's cool. I mean, just even contact us on Instagram or whatever.
Yeah. I've been posting a little bit more often on Instagram.
I see that. I see those.
I'm trying to keep it up, but it's pain, because I'm like, it takes an hour to edit one small tiny fucking clip, and it's like, why?
You know what? Maybe you have to start doing is adding just like random people. You know how sometimes you ever get that on your Instagram where you see
I
these?
don't want to stoop that low. That's just weird.
They might start listening to us.
I mean, maybe, but I'd rather not just kind of add random people for no reason.
We have to get our name out there somehow.
Yeah, we just gotta keep. I just gotta keep up with the Instagram, and that'll help get us traction.
We just need
And
to have
YouTube.
We need to have Race in the Roundabouts perform live.
Yeah,
on
there
our
you go.
show.
Yeah.
That will get us some
Do a live
listeners.
video, have a live set.
Yeah, that will be incredible. The funny thing about the podcasts that we've done so far, I find, is like the fact that sometimes we can kind of go off the rails a bit, especially if there is alcohol involved. And we had one episode I'll never forget where we were joined by Melissa, and Matt was getting into the drink. We were all I think we were all getting into the drinks, and the look on your poor face at the end of it was of complete. I think that one got erased, right? I don't think we even.
No,
did
it's there.
It did?
I don't know why I uploaded it. I've listened to it multiple times. It sounds awful. There's parts of it you can't understand what anyone's saying, because it's all talking over each other.
Yeah.
But it was fun to make.
It was. That was one. Trust me, we're never going to do that again. That was a one and done. That was more so because it was it May 2-4? I think it was
I think somewhere around there.
Yeah, there was a weekend it was a drinking weekend. Yeah. And we all had alcohol. Well, Jackson didn't, but all of us did, and we all chose to get blitzed at 2 p.m. in the afternoon that day. So that was fun and exciting to do. But no, we'll never do that again, but we will definitely do the colors and the colors that came out wrong. The colors album covers. There we go. And we're just going to definitely have a blast trying to think of new ideas. Maybe we have to do a whole episode on hip hop and rap.
Yeah, we'll have to
deep dive into that.
Do a pop episode.
Yeah, we have to do these things.
I want to at some point during our deep dive band, whatever. At some point, I want to do one for Maury Calliope or Demon Dice or whatever whatever you want to call her, because I just want to talk about her.
Yeah, I get that.
I don't get to. My friends make fun of me for listening to her. for no
No,
reason, but
no, I know. I mean, I've been listening to, I have a lot of chick singers I listen to, and
they're great.
they are, and like I love pop. Like I listen to pop music like Britt Nicole, who I just remember her because her name's right here, and she sings a crazy song called "Gold," which the video is just freaking funny and hilarious. But she's got a good voice, and the song's really catchy. And that's the
Yeah.
thing, you know. I'm in love with Sabrina Carpenter's new song, "Please, Please, Please." That is such a killer tune. But
Yeah, she's got great catchy songs, but
oh,
she
she
is a
does.
Taylor Swift and a half.
Oh yeah,
All of her songs are about men and breakups. It's like,
yeah,
bruh.
yeah. And she just did something with Olivia, so they're like,
She just did a song. I don't know how long ago. It was a video. Did a music video with Jenna Ortega. I think it was for Taste or something like that.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that,
And
that was like, what?
yeah, and I think, or she did something. I swear I saw her today. She did something with Olivia Rodrigo or
Probably,
something
yeah.
coming up. Yeah, or maybe it was a photo of them together, thinking of doing something. But you can tell like this is the era of pop music
It
now,
is, yeah,
and it's not that it's bad. I actually like it. It's fun to
yeah.
listen to at times.
It's funny because like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it was all boy groups, and then it was girl group. Well, girl groups was
Yeah.
before, and then boy groups, and then it was just kind of whatever independent artists, and then now it's female singers talking about breakups.
Oh, I know, and that's the way it
That, and
is.
then whatever rap beef is going on.
Yes. We had fun. Was it about a week ago? We got together and we didn't do a podcast. We actually got together and we listened to music, which was nice. We did it probably for what 5-6 hours. It
Yeah,
was,
it was a long day, but
and it was fun.
yeah, it was very fun.
We got introduced to a lot of new artists and from each other, new songs, and because of that, Jackson has helped me make my Metal Mayhem playlist an astounding 955 songs right now.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
going pretty fast.
yeah, that's not, and it's, you know what, like it's over 24 hours of music, of course, like no doubt, but it's it's incredible because I got to get familiarized with a lot of bands that you listen to that I didn't like, that I know of by name, didn't know of by
Right,
structure. It
yeah.
was cool to hear those songs. Cool that I was like, okay, this song's actually catchy, because for me, I need a catchy beat to really dig it. And some of the songs, like you even said, some of these you're not going to like, and I'm not going to introduce you to those. I will introduce you to the ones I know you'll like. You did.
Yeah.
I ended up liking them. And it's just cool now that they're on the list. And plus, it's even more fun because next Sunday, you're not going to be at work and I will be. And I get to have the stereo. So I'm going to play my Metal Mayhem in hopes that bands like Sabaton
Yeah, the
and
ones that
then,
I showed
yeah,
you.
come up, and little Matt would be like, what the hell? I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know how Jackson must have put this on here. I don't know.
Yeah,
Because he'll be like, I thought Jackson only listened to this. It's like, well, you know. Oh, speaking of which, I have to, once we're done, I have to talk to you about something. It's not, people, I know it sounds bad to say, but actually, I'll just talk to you on here about it because true, it's nothing too bad. Last Sunday, what were you listening to at work? Do you remember?
No,
You
not
don't
at
remember?
all. No.
Matt texted me, and if he hears this, whatever. I don't think he'll care. He texted me. He goes, "Jackson's been playing like really like deep music that no one knows tonight." So I said, well, maybe he's in a mood. Maybe he just needs to vent or something. Just let him be. Sometimes when he gets like that, he needs to listen to his angry music. And I'm not there to talk to him, so I don't know what's going on. So he says, well, maybe. He's like, but stuff I never heard of before. I'm thinking, well, that's everything with you, Matt.
Yeah, I
You
was
never
gonna
heard.
say that's not new.
So then he comes on Tuesday. I'm talking to him. So I said, well, what was going on with Jackson? And then that night, I mean, what was he doing? He's like, well, he was listening to music like, I thought it was he was, I thought it was what's the band, The Killers, but it wasn't. It was another band, and that would be, was it Motionless and, or no, or my Motionless and White, or was it
I
Bullet
don't
for My
know.
Valentine? They do
Yeah, something.
they do one of their songs.
Yeah.
And then he said he was naming. I was like, dude, he's listening to cover songs.
Yeah.
That's what he's
cover,
doing.
yeah.
He's listening to heavier metal cover songs of songs we know. It's like I introduced him to probably some of them too. He was listening to. He was listening to was it Walking on Sunshine?
Yeah,
like, yeah, I go, that's Ice
when
Nine
it came
Kills,
out,
you
yeah.
jackass, and Real Big Fish. He's like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah.
So he thought you were like, I'm like, these aren't deep cuts, these are covers.
Yeah,
And
these are just covers.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he's like, I know that.
I do sort of remember I was playing some heavier stuff, but yeah, I don't know why. I just kind of in a mood for, I guess. I don't know.
He was like, he goes, I didn't know half the songs. I'm like, well, you don't know half the songs anyhow, Matt.
Yeah, it's nothing new.
Matt, Matt, we love you, man, but you thought Shinedown was punk, so
Yeah.
that just takes it
That's
right
just
there.
confusing.
Yeah, that's definitely confusing for sure. On this sweet edition of New Apartment Radio Podcast, and we're coming at you on episode 25, the season finale, and we are hitting strong tonight. We've hit a lot of great topics, and we still got more to go because we need to discuss someone has a birthday in a week.
No, we don't. Nope, nope. We didn't
Oh, we
discuss that.
do. Someone has a birthday in 1 week. It's
No,
actually a week
no.
tomorrow. And this video, should I say, audio won't come out until around that time. So
It'll be a few weeks after, but yeah.
yeah. So we got to wish you the happy birthday now, buddy. You're gonna be
Uh,
you're gonna be the big 2-0.
Sadly,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm 17. Like I don't
I feel
feel.
like I'm 17. So trust me,
Yeah.
dude. It's weird, right? When you get older, sometimes you just don't age. You just feel that.
Well, you physically age.
You
You
physically,
mentally.
yeah, but you mentally, you still feel like
Yeah.
you're there. You're halfway to 40. That's quite the land mark right there. You can now officially. I'll do nothing. I real 20 means
Nothing's
nothing.
changed.
Yeah, nothing.
I can't drink in America yet.
No,
so.
you still can't. Good news. I bought you 2 birthday gifts. Melissa got you 1. So
Ooh.
so you will be getting gifts from us. I will bring them over to you next Saturday when I see you.
Perfect.
And you can have them then. Also, from what I understand, Matt and Race got you things too. So.
I don't know why they need. I don't need anything.
Well, you are a friend and a brother to us all, sir. So that is why.
Like my grandma got me gas money, and that's pretty much it.
Hey, gas money's good, right?
It's gas money, yeah, but I don't need anything. I just
well,
yeah.
It's good. It's fun to give gifts on birthdays. It's fun to celebrate. It's just it's an enjoyable day for the person who was born. So you should enjoy it that day. So that's going to be a fun time next week. And we will be also next week, even though this doesn't really matter right now, we will be starting off season 2 with that first episode. Yeah. We'll be recording it actually from Jackson's house. I believe, right?
We'll record it there, whether or not we'll get a special guest on it or not.
Yeah.
We'll see, but we'll record it there.
It'd be fun to, like I said, to do it in your backyard.
That's what I want to do on the porch, because
Yeah.
as long as it's nice out, we can do it at like whatever, 5 or 6 o'clock, and just be nice.
So next Saturday the pay-per-view's on at 1. It will be done by 5. So
yeah,
we're
so
good.
or even 7 if it needs
yeah,
to be later.
no, we'll be good. We'll be good. And that's going to be really exciting. We're going to have to brainstorm once we're done this to figure out what we're going to talk about on season 2, because we want to go into this one differently than season 1. We went in a little timid in season 1.
Yeah, we want to be a little bit more prepared.
Yeah, we weren't too sure what we were doing. To be fair, we were both kind of nervous and excited doing this. We didn't really know. And as time went on, hey, I'm still nervous before we start this. I still have the nervous pee I get right before I do this. And that's like that for anything I do that's big and exciting. I remember in school, if I was in a play, oh my God, I got to pee. And if I used to wrestle, oh my God, I got to pee. It's just that nervous factor kicks in on me. And it's nervous because it's exciting. I think I'm so excited for these. These are so much fun. And it's just, I don't know. It's like, I'm looking at it in a different viewpoint too now, because you had all these great ideas you want to do for season 2, just not in topic wise, just your
the production.
Yeah. I think it's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, I think my plan. Yeah, we'll see if it works or not. But I'm thinking each season we change up the podcast a little bit, not some substantial thing, but something new each season. So the first season, halfway through, that was really the first one. The second season, you'll see a few changes, and then next season, the third season, maybe who knows? Maybe if we get income, we'll get actual mics
and headphones and everything.
Yeah,
maybe
thing. We'll see. That's probably a pipe dream. But
well, I mean, it might not be too. I mean, we're both taking this a little more serious.
Yeah, and
now.
Also 25 episodes is half a year, over half a year. It's like
is.
6 months.
Yeah,
and we missed weeks in this.
We did
25 episodes, and I'll probably miss some next time.
Oh, for sure. It's not going to be perfect, but I'm glad that we still have people listening and such. And I'm just, it's weird to think that even if we have like 3 people listening to an episode, that's 3 more than I thought ever would listen to us.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just 2 guys from a small town that would talk music on an assembly line at Walmart in the back, and we were lucky enough where we were placed pretty much across from each other to talk to each other about music, and the player's always near us, like it's always right by us.
Side, yeah.
And the fact that I remember I it's been almost 2 years. Like it's over 2 years now that I've started working there. And you and I started really talking about music probably about a month or so of me in there. And I noticed like because
Yeah,
you'd
about
play
then.
music, and I'd be like, oh, so you'd play Metallica would come on or something, and I'd be like, okay, cool. And we'd start chatting back and forth, like, well, do you know this band? And you'd be like, oh, I've heard of them, or I know one song. And I'd be like, you should check this song out. You'd listen to it, like, holy shit, that's good. And then
Yeah.
we would, kind of vibe back and forth and gab back and forth with it. And look what happened now. Like, it's
Yeah.
just here we are doing it for fun for listeners, hopefully to enjoy. And Ryan Moore can critique us if he still listens to
I
us.
doubt he does.
I don't know. I'm gonna ask Moore if he still listens to us.
Probably not because it was so bad. He's just like, nah.
Yeah,
But
he's
these
like, I can't.
motherfuckers.
He's like, I should be the producer and director. And
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
okay, then do it then.
Yeah, you're a freaking audio engineer.
Yeah, but no, I don't know if he does. I have to ask him. But it's kind of neat that Melissa said she tried listening to it, but she I think her exact words were, "I got bored." I think that's what it was, wasn't it? You said something. I remember you said like you tried listening to us, but you only listened like half of it, and you're just like, eh. She doesn't remember that. She said that to me. Trust me, folks. I do remember that. Have you listened to any since? She said no, folks. She is here for some of them, yes,
Yeah, I
but
was
she's
gonna
not
say
here for all of
majority
them.
now.
Not all of them. It upsets me. No, I'm kidding. Actually, I don't even listen to them.
No, I have to because
I
I have to
know.
edit them. But
Yeah, I
even
know
then,
you
like,
do.
I'm listening to them minimally.
I know.
Unless I know there's something I need to like edit during the episode, I'll listen to the first 5 minutes and last 5 minutes. That's
Yeah.
it.
It's funny when I look back at this because again, it was a dream I had, and the reason that dream all started for me, I've said this before, and I plugged this many times. I had my own YouTube channel for wrestling magazines, and I remember thinking, you know, how cool it would be to do something for music because I love talking, as you can see, and I always wanted to do a radio thing back in the day, and it didn't pan out. I went to school for broadcast journalism, and it just
You did it at the worst
I
time
did.
possible because
I
that's
did.
right when everything was out the door.
I know, and I just what sucked the most though about that, and me and my best friend at the time, Mike Holt, went into it, and we were told that we had to stay all winter break there because they wanted us to do stuff because we were like the first year students, and we were like, what the fuck? They go, yeah, you need to be here Christmas Day. It's like, no, I'm going to be home Christmas Day. So I ended up changing my course. I said, or I changed my thing. I did general arts and science for the last half then, and I took a lot of writing courses. And when I came back from college, I went back to my newspaper where I worked at, and I told them, like, listen, I didn't do broadcasting after all. I ended up doing like general arts and science of creative writing and like poetry and how to put things together. Like, oh, cool. Do you want a job again? It's like, all right, yeah, sure, I'll do this again.
Shit.
Yeah, small town, they needed the help. I said, yeah, sure. Again, of course, worst time to go back or to get into print journalism because that was dying out then.
Yeah, that was the point when
it was all
dying,
video.
Yeah.
It was video was becoming a thing. The internet was growing.
Radio was on its last legs.
Yeah, YouTube was just boom coming up.
Yeah.
YouTube, I remember 2006, YouTube hit on strong, and it was no one ever turned back and went back in time. The fact that audio podcasts still do work because people drive in cars.
Yeah.
They still need something to listen to. But for the most part, you do want a video. And ladies and gentlemen, I will say this right now. My plan eventually, and maybe season 3, is for us to have videos of us talking to be on YouTube while we're doing this. That would be something I want to look into. Not for season 2. I'm thinking season 3 or 4. If this kicks on and we get better mics, better production.
Yeah. I was talking about that too, and I mentioned it off camera about like the whole
idea,
make a quote VTuber.
Right.
Like,
the video idea you have is awesome. It's incredible. But I think eventually it would be cool if we could do like the camera was like set up like you're seeing, because people are for example, my girlfriend was listening to the Boy Meets World podcast, which is called Pod Meets World, and she said that she would listen to it on her phone, but she wouldn't be that interested in it. But she saw YouTube airs them with the video screens of them talking,
definitely,
and it's more interesting.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few just in general, and the best podcasts are normally the ones that have the video.
Yeah.
Because even if you don't care to watch them, some people out there just want something moving. If they're let's say they're playing a game, or they're doing homework, or they're cooking food, or working out, they just want something there to kind of
Distract them with it.
not
Like, what?
necessarily distract them in a way, but also just keep their attention focused on what they're doing because it's something that's
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
kind of vibrating one side of the brain, and then the other one can focus on whatever they're
Well, it
doing.
is distraction is good too because sometimes you get in that like
Yeah,
zone where you're just staring off at something.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been there many times. I stare at a wall. Ladies and gentlemen, I should bring this up too. I have recently acquired 10 brand new Master of the Universe action figures that are tacked on my wall over there. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
They are the cartoon versions of them from like the 80s cartoon. They've made them to look like that. And as a big Master Universe fan, I love those figures. They look so cool. And speaking of which, the He-Man and the Master Universe theme song was amazing as back in the 80s. There's
Oh,
one
it's
thing
great.
too.
Yeah.
Did you ever the 80s cartoons and even early 90s had some of the best music to
Oh,
their
yeah. They were perfect as like catchy but like entertaining songs in the way like the songwriting's good, but the way they could edit the song to fit.
yeah.
If you listen to the Transformers
Oh yeah.
like opening,
Yeah.
that is a terrible song if you just like if you were to take it apart from the opening of the show and listen to it. There's no chorus, there's no bridge, they're kind of
No.
just thrown together. But it works so well because of the way they edit it together.
Yep.
And it's beautiful. And even still like they continue that through the 2000s, but man, it's those early 80s and 90s shows, those just top
Yeah.
most stuff.
And it's not just for them. Like I remember there's a Canadian cartoon. You probably don't know of this, Jackson, but I bet you any older listeners would remember. I'm pretty sure your dad would remember this cartoon. It was called The Raccoons.
I don't know it, but I remember hearing about it. I
Yeah.
remember I don't know if we talked about it at some point or
It
somebody, but
has the most incredible theme song, which I believe is a real song. But
yeah, no, it was
yeah,
here we talked about
yeah,
this.
and
Yeah.
they use oh my god, that everyone my generation, between right now, if you're like anywhere between 47 to like 39, that cartoon, you watched it as a youngster, and that song was just amazing. And there were so many other ones. There was Chase and the Wheeled Warriors had a great song for the cartoons. You had oh my god, what else was? Oh, Toxic Crusaders, uh, Bucky O'Hare, Captain Bucky O'Hare, Mutants and Aliens and Toads Beware. Oh my, like that that shit just writes itself, right?
Yeah, it
And
does.
even on old sitcoms like Full House or Growing Pains
And
or
regardless,
Perfect Strangers,
however much you hate it, Seinfeld,
Seinfeld,
one of
yeah,
the best soundtracks ever. The
yeah,
bum bum bum
yeah,
bum
it
bum
is. It's
bum
because you
bum
know
bum
it.
bum.
It gets in your head.
Yeah.
Even Friends. I don't like the show Friends, but the
No.
fact they used that
Oh
song
yeah,
by the
the
Rembrandts
yeah.
was creative. It was
Mhm.
awesome. And Beverly Hills 90210, we're watching that right now on mute. They had an amazing opening too with the guitar and the drums, and like those songs got you hooked. And
Yeah.
there's because there is a hook to that
Yeah.
theme song.
Yeah, there's they use it was kind of the early stages of YouTube and TikTok where they know how to grab that one special spot of the song that people would get like attached to and get
Yeah.
hooked in their brain, the
Yep.
earworm, so to speak, and they
Yes.
put that as the intro.
Oh, a Big Bang Theory. Speaking of earworm, that
Yeah,
episode, they used oh, what's that Canadian band? Oh, Bare Naked Ladies.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They use them as a, and I mean it's just crazy to think that some of these, it's just real bands, it's real, these
Mhm.
songs are catchy, and that's why these shows have longevity.
Yeah, and we're not going to throw shade. There's also plenty of 90s and 2000s and even 2010 shows like Gravity Falls, Adventure Time, and SpongeBob, and all these other shows that also have amazing theme
Oh,
songs
there
and
is.
music.
Yeah.
It's just for a different generation, right?
Yeah,
Like I'm more familiar with those than
right.
what you're talking
Where
about.
you have SpongeBob SquarePants opening, I have Ladies and Gentlemen Garfield and Friends, and
Yeah.
that was the catchy song back in the 80s for me to watch Garfield, and it's still to this day I know the words if that song comes on.
Yeah.
I still remember it. So I think that's something that unfortunately a lot of TV shows have missed in
Past
maybe,
few years, yeah.
yeah, maybe actually since maybe like 2006 till now, like last 20 years. I don't think shows like
High production shows are missing it. I think
yeah.
the lower production stuff like those animated shows still have it. And the smaller the team, they generally care more about the show, so they'll do stuff like
Well,
that.
did shows like 30 Rock or Parks and Recreation or The Office, I don't think they
I
had theme
don't remember
songs.
Parks. I've only watched Parks and Rec. I don't think it had a theme.
No. See,
But
that's what I
it's a
mean.
different era, right?
It
Like
is,
there's
yeah.
it was very similar. It was based a lot around The Office, and The Office was that one. It was super dry humor, super.
Just like Arrested Development. Did you ever
Yeah,
see
it
that show? That
was.
was
Yeah,
same, yeah.
it's the most like dry and just kind of parched stuff you could have
Yeah.
for like comedy. It's hilarious, but it's hilarious because there's so much awkward moments and so much blank space,
Oh, yeah.
and the music, the lack of music, I should say, is part of that.
Yeah. And that's okay too. I mean, there's certain time frames for that stuff, but I think a catchy song works. I remember Rules of Engagement. That show had a great theme song, and I didn't even know that was a real song until one time my girlfriend and I were watching a TV show, and that song was playing like in the background. I'm like, wait, that's the Rules of Engagement intro, but it's
Hmm.
not. It's a real song.
Yeah,
And you're like,
a lot of those
oh,
old shows used real songs, and you don't realize it until maybe you grow up or you start like just find the band on
yeah.
whatever reason. But yeah,
So that's something that we haven't really hit on yet. So I'm glad we talked about that. Was the music in TV shows
another
and
thing,
such.
which before we move on,
Yeah,
sometimes I don't know how often this is nowadays or even back then, but there'll be bands that make a song specifically for a show.
that's right.
The one that comes to mind is Simple Plan, and they did the song. Was it Simple Plan? I think so. They did the song for Scooby Doo,
Scooby Doo. Yeah.
and that was like the biggest hit for even nowadays. It's huge. It's one of the most catchy and mainstream.
You know who originally did the Scooby Doo one was MXPX. They
Yeah,
were the
they
original.
did the
Yeah.
original one in like the what was it, the 70s
No,
or
no,
the
no.
80s?
That was they did that for the. That would have been oh geez, that was a '90s version of it, I think.
Oh,
And
like the
then
yeah,
Simple Plan did
the
the
2000
movie,
version,
right? The
yeah, the
movie
movie.
version. So I found out too an artist called Jackalope, who's a great Canadian band and female vocalist. She did the opening for Degrassi, the Next
Oh yeah.
Generation. Yeah, I
Huh.
found that out. So I thought that was kind of cool. So it's weird when you hear about these bands doing songs for shows that you were like, oh, I had no clue that was them. But then when you find that out and you listen back to it, you're like, oh yeah, that was them. I can hear it
Yeah.
now. Yeah, that's just the way it is when it comes to TV shows. You have to have a good hook, just like the hook for us being episode 25, the season finale. That's our hook. And we are New Apartment Radio Podcast. Is your host with the most, Beetlejuice. No, I'm kidding. It's DJ Bill here guiding this topic of conversation with my producer Jackson on this grand finale episode of the season. Jackson, straight out, what do you take from this season as something that you're most proud of?
I don't know. There's a few things I should. I think the biggest one is the kind of commitment we put into it. Even though, and mostly this is like just kind of happenstance. It's not purposeful, but we've missed weeks and we've been not been consistent. But generally speaking, we've done 25 episodes. That's more than I thought we would have done in a year. Like, I
Yeah.
thought we would have been at maybe like 10, 15 by the end of the year. I'm like,
Yeah.
but we've been consistent with pretty much every week with a few miss, and then this most recent hiatus we went on just in the month of August. But
Yeah.
man, like that
It's
was the one
insane.
thing.
Yeah.
Second, that those Metallica videos were just so well done, and I gotta give props to you because you were definitely the forefront, especially that opening on the first episode,
Oh,
that
thank
whatever
you.
10-minute monologue.
Yeah.
It's just it made it feel professional, even though we're in your apartment
Yeah.
in this like we're using shitty like Amazon microphones.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it feels it's surreal because like I've always been interested in content creation. I've never really explored it because I do not like the back end of it, and
Right.
I know it's awful, and I know people who a lot of popular YouTubers always hire that shit out because it's boring and it's tedious and it's long hours.
Yeah.
But it's man, it's fun to create.
I just think it's incredible too that we somehow can like pack an hour and sometimes even more than an hour in of conversation. And sometimes we did that on the fly with like nothing planned. It was
Oh
just
yeah,
like
yep.
we sat around like, okay, we brainstormed, okay, I got an idea. I'll start off with that and we'll see where this goes. And
Yeah,
somehow we end up with an hour.
that's I mean that's how most podcasts work, but ours I didn't think we get to that because we are so normally when we talk about stuff we either over talk about something
Yeah.
or we just kind of mention it and then move on or whatever.
Yeah.
But with us with the podcast, if we ended up having somewhat like it felt perfect. Like most conversation felt like the right amount of time.
It
They
did.
felt like enough where whoever's in the episode had what could say what they wanted to say, but it didn't overstay its welcome.
Exactly. Exactly. And folks, we did have some special guests this year. We had Matt, we had Race, and we had Roger.
Yeah,
And of course Melissa was also on too. And it was it was fun to have those guests. I would love to once again have Roger on in season
yeah,
2.
that'd be nice.
I would like to have other people. There's a girl at our work named Natalie who says she wants to come on. She likes music. She
Yeah,
looked us up. She said you guys have like a lot of I forget the time how many we had on there, 22 or
I
something.
think so. Yeah,
Yeah, she's like, wow, you guys are serious about this. Like, yeah, we are. We do take it a bit serious, but we have fun with it. But we do take it serious enough where we are trying to make this as professional as it can. So hopefully one
professional
day,
while staying realistic,
yeah,
staying touching the ground, so to speak, right?
right.
Like we're being humble or whatever you want to
Of
call it.
course. And I think we'd be that to the day we die with this. And I think that if hopefully by the grace of God or Buddha or whatever you believe in, if someone came along and heard this, if let's say some production company was starting up in Canada and said, man, we need to find something new. And they came across our podcast and heard it and said, man, we could give these two money and make this a real thing. That would be the most incredible thing.
That'd be incredible. Yeah,
Yeah. I wouldn't even know what to believe or
I
first of
wouldn't
all,
know
I
what
would
to
think it would
do.
be a lie. I'd be like,
Yeah,
no,
it'd
you're,
be bullshit, scam, fuck off.
yeah,
Yeah, but
there's no way. But I mean, stranger things have happened, and nothing starts out brand, spanking new in the spotlight. With
no,
you have to.
everything starts in the garage,
It
right?
does. It
All your
does.
big tech companies, Apple, Tesla, PayPal,
Amazon.
Amazon, Microsoft, they
Yeah.
all started in the garage.
It all and
Passion project turned into a billionaire company,
yeah,
which I know for a fact ours won't, but we might get somewhere.
we
Who
might.
knows?
And you know what? Same with music. Not Metallica didn't start out
True,
playing in a giant
true.
stadium. They played in a dive bar in front of 30 fans,
Yep,
playing 6 songs.
yep,
And those 6
yep,
songs they played religiously probably for a year
yeah.
before they
3 of
wrote
them
new
were
ones.
covers.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
So there you go. So it's all about growing. And to wrap up this episode, to wrap up this season, I just want to say one thing to you, Jackson. I appreciate so much what you've done for this podcast. I appreciate all the time and effort and work you've done into doing this and to getting the mics, to editing, to everything that you've done with this. You have helped create a dream that I always wanted to do, and that is talk music in a podcast like situation. I didn't have the right co-person. I never had the right person who knew this stuff. And you came along
yeah,
like a blessing in disguise, who knew all this, who had all this, who could do all this. And because of you, you gave me a chance to live a dream, even if this dream is just us messing around in the either your place or my place,
yeah.
having fun, talking music. I thank you so much for enabling me to be able to do it for 25 episodes. And here's hoping we do another 250
Yeah,
and then
I'm
some.
hoping so.
So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Jackson, for this opportunity. Thank you to the viewers and listeners and everyone else. I guess it's listeners, not viewers, unless you watch the YouTube videos you put up of
Yeah, they're
it.
kind of ass, but if you might, I don't know how many we've gotten. Not many.
No, but if you listen to us, thank you so much. And please subscribe to the Facebook page, to Instagram, and trust us. We will like and follow you back on there and communicate with you and all that other stuff that people do online and social media. We do that too because it's the hip thing to do.
Yeah, I'm not. I'll be honest. I don't like social media. I never have. I don't post on.
Mhm.
If you go to my personal account, I don't fucking touch it. I'll post one thing a year maybe,
He does.
but it's important, and I realize that. And for this podcast to work, we use it, and I have to use it. And
Well,
how it
maybe,
goes.
one day you'll post your sweet layout of your records on the wall of all the Iron Maidens.
Yeah, I think. Well, I've been wanting to. I just got some cabinets for my parents for my birthday to display figures, so I'm gonna do a post of at
Wait,
some
what
point.
figures? What do you?
I have some anime figures and then a bunch of my Skylanders.
Oh, right. What about the Iron Maiden Funkos? Are you leaving them
I
where they're
those
at?
are they're just yeah. I'm just gonna leave them where they're at because they're just too big.
Ah, gotcha. That's understandable. All right. Well, then, everyone, this has been episode 25, the season finale of New Apartment Radio Broadcast. podcast, broadcast, it's all the same.
Yeah,
It is whatever you want to. Hey, you know what? Actually, I don't want to spoil it, but let's just say one thing right now. Be prepared to hear perhaps
the broadcast version.
the broadcast. You might be hearing this in future episodes. New apartment radio broadcast 108.3, baby, coming at you. Perhaps. We're not really too sure yet. We're going to look into that. But that's all for season 2. A little teaser there for you all. And once again, Jackson, thank you so much for season 1. It's been a blast, brother.
It's been a blast.
It has. It's been awesome.
The best. It's like any creative thing you could do, this has been the best.
It has. And we cannot wait to do season 2. It's going to start next week. We're going to start recording it. It won't be out for a while. We're going to probably get a lot in the hopper, as that old saying goes. So we'll be lined up because we honestly really don't know when we're going to be able to get together anytime coming up because Jackson works a lot of weird hours, as do I now, apparently, because Walmart is weird and Nicole is weird.
At least we can probably get together during the week, Mark, as school's coming up, which means I work less.
That's true. And actually, yeah, and you know what days I'll have off because right now it's just truck days for us right now. So
yeah, I purposely asked to get Friday off so that we can hopefully do stuff then.
Okay.
Because I figured Wednesday's your day that you normally hang out with Ryan.
Yeah, but Ryan right now is on hiatus. He's doing the tomato run until October.
Tomatoes, right?
Yeah,
yes,
so
yeah.
Wednesdays are free, except for you, Matt King. I'm not hanging out with you that day. All right. On that note,
that's a perfect note to end it.
Yeah. On that note, thank you everyone for listening to season 1, episode 25. We will see you on the next one. And Jackson and I only have one thing left to say to you all. Peace.